Do you have a hard time making decisions? Do you find yourself stuck a lot on decisions? Do you find yourself doing tons of research to try to figure out what to do, to go to other people and ask them, what do you think I should do? One, that's the externalization of authority. So usually it's that somewhere, usually young, we learned that we couldn't trust ourselves. So we spend our lives seeking other people to guide us, other people to tell us what to do. That's usually because we have a disconnection from our intuition, a disconnection from the inner guidance that we have, because we learned that we couldn't trust it. Because maybe it said, my home's not safe, or I want to express this, but I can't. So you have to actually disassociate from it, which means like shut yourself down, shut down the relationship you have to your own inner guidance. Now, the other level of this is actually looking at how indecision, when you think about it, is self-sabotage, right? It's like immobilization. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. Well, what would be at the basis of that? It's a freeze in the nervous system. It's that the nervous system itself is stuck in freeze. So what's showing up as chaos and indecision and not knowing what to do is really that at the basis, your nervous system is dysregulated, maybe due to trauma, maybe due to different things you've experienced in your life, but you're frozen. So it shows up as indecision, but it's really that at the root, at the base, you can't go anywhere. So what's the way through this? Because that's ultimately what we want, is like, how do I start trusting my decisions? And it's through making them. Seeing that I am actually going to other people for advice and actually sensing within yourself, what is it that I know to be true? What I do know that happens more often than not is we look to do research to figure out that it is anything but what we know. I think a second principle that's important to recognize, which this one kind of sucks, is that usually the guidance you're receiving from your intuition, from wherever, is something that's annoying. It's something you don't want to do. It's usually the thing that really requires you to have the hard conversation, choose yourself, step towards a direction that's in service of you. This means that we're starting to learn how to prioritize ourselves. You might have spent your whole life not actually honoring what you need, what you want. And the greatest fear we have when we're in that kind of space is being seen as selfish, being seen as self-centered. But there's a difference between being self-centered and centering yourself. Centering yourself in your life means living in integrity with what you value, what you want, what you need. Now, if you have a hard time identifying what you need and what you value, a quick way to do that is to ask yourself, who do I admire? Because the people you admire embody behaviors and values that you hope to embody yourself. Now, last but certainly not least, as we start to thaw out from that freeze, right? Inability to move through life, inability to make decisions ourselves, we get access to our voice. So a great practice that we can do is a form of breath work, which is moving from that anxious, like inability to voice things, so from up here down to our gut. And that breath work we can do just every morning or in the evening. And we do it maybe listening to a couple songs, laying down. And it's a breath that starts in the stomach and moves up to the chest and then out. So it would be, so when the first inhale is into the gut, the second one up to the chest, and the last one just out. So, and it's with your mouth. And you do that repeatedly for, let's say, two songs that you really enjoy. And at the end of it, what I like to do is a breath retention. So the very last one, I'll just take a deep breath in and I'll hold that breath, but I'll hold the breath lower in my stomach instead of up in my chest. That's where anxiety lives. That's where I'm not sure what I need to do. That's where the weight of the directions of my life sit. So these simple steps, one, just acknowledging that I do subcontract authority, that I look to other people instead of to myself to actually choose my life. Secondly, looking at what is the thing I most don't want to do? What is the thing I don't want to acknowledge? What's the step or conversation or thing I need to do that I'm most afraid of? That's usually what we need to do. Third, really recognizing that we start to use our voice, we need to move back down into our body. And as we do that, we start to direct our lives. The more you trust your intuition, the more you can trust your intuition. The more information it will feed you.